you start seeing life in a different way, which is really exciting. But let's get to the A, the agency of self. So we talked about subjectivity, that's S, perspective, that's the P. The third component of selfness, self-experience, is agency. Imagine if we started acting on behalf of the whole human family and all of living beings. That's what we mean by greater good. And all the studies working toward the greater good show it's a win-win-win situation. I mean,
Yeah.
you individually in your body will be healthier and happier when you actually have those experiences of gratitude and compassion and awe that you're
Right.
contributing to this greater good. And the people around you will benefit. And the third win is win-win-win, is the world, the natural world is waiting for us to wake up from this toxic lie and start realizing that we are the breath of the planet. We are this
Uh,
world. And so, intraconnected is a funny word. I know. I mean, it's not a word. Well, maybe it'll become a word now, but the idea of the intra is to feel the subjective experience of the whole, to
yeah.
take the perspective of the whole and the agency on behalf of the whole. And if we started living like that, I'm really hopeful that there's tremendous, deep, and lasting change that together we can create.
Well, there's a question lurking in here, I think, about about ethics and good and evil. And so, what are your thoughts about good and evil?
So tell me more about that, David, because I'm trying to figure out which aspect of the journey of IntraConnected bring up good and evil in that way.
Yeah, we see things happening in the world that we consider to be evil. You talk about your own personal history and your history of your family in the context of speaking about divisions between people and racism. And so you brought your own story into that,
Yeah,
which I really appreciated.
thank
Um,
you.
and it's pretty hard not to look at things like putting people in gas ovens and etc. Uh, not as evil.
I
And
see. Right.
yeah, and
Gotcha.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, if you begin with the premise of integration as well-being, and if you even take the step of saying, let's use integration to address questions of good and evil as you're presenting them, and the questions of ethics, what I found is helpful is to stick with the interdisciplinary science of interpersonal neurobiology that says well-being comes from integration. So what is integration? It's honoring differences and promoting compassionate linkages. Now, if you look at, all the different genocides around the world and the Holocaust during the last millennium, you know, was uh, was an example of just such a thing. But it happens in many, many countries, unfortunately, all over this planet. Humans do this. When you look at that, you say, well, an excessive differentiation of the in group from the out group, when you look at the studies of the brain that
yeah,
I talk about in the book, it basically makes the individual's perspective see that person they've designated in the out group as subhuman. And this dehumanization process could be called evil for sure. And if you mean a sadistic, that is intentionally inducing pain in others and destruction in others, and you want to call that evil, absolutely. But here's the thing: when we say that person's evil, I'm good, they're evil, we are polarizing things. So instead, what I try to do in the book is, instead of doing the good and evil thing, was say, look, humans are born into a nervous system that for at least 50 million years has had in-group, out-group distinction processes going on in the nervous system. What we need to do is use our cortex to override this, especially under threat, this propensity we have to put someone in the out group and then put them in ovens and destroy them, gas them, murder them, shoot them. And the polarization we see even now is this excessive differentiation. So I think your question is a great one that invites us to say, now, how do we actually take a stance, a moral stance,
Right,
about the proper way to go forward as a humanity without actually increasing polarization, saying we have the right way to do it and your way is not right. So for me, the way to do that is to see every human being has the capacity for what you're calling good and evil. And then what you see with love is the potential for every human being to actually use their cortical override, to override their in-group, out-group distinction, to wake up from the kind of trance of polarization that says, oh, I'm under threat. I'm team A, we're good. Those people in the other political group, the other religious group, the other racial group, the other species group even, they're the bad ones, we're the good ones. So this question you're asking is so great because we need to find a way to say there is health and health promotion that's regenerative, and there is a very integrative process that we will honor. And if a person's become trapped in a non-integrative process, we're not going to call it evil. We're not going to call them the bad guys. We're going to realize any of us could become trapped in a non-integrative flow. So rather than nounify them as that's the evil one and I'm the good one, no, we say they're in the flow of non-integration. Let me support them with love, with compassion, with understanding, because every living being on earth will benefit from integration. Nobody benefits from polarization. Nobody benefits from destruction. And those are all non-integrative states. So what we want to do is be integrationists, to not polarize and just say, look, we're all in this together. It's never a good thing to actually polarize and say they're the bad, I'm the good, but actually reach out, because everyone will benefit from that. How does that sit with you, though?
that sits fine. Yeah, I think we really have to go to that understanding, to that profound understanding and shift of viewpoint, because the alternative, as you've pointed out, is chaos and disaster.